Disney is turning itself into kind of like Netflix. Netflix is more successful than Disney building their streaming business, obviously, but Disney just announced a major reorganization. There are more details coming out, and it's more and more apparent now that Disney is really trying to replicate what's working for Netflix, and also that streaming is going to be the future, direct to consumer, really for all entertainment. There will still be movie theaters, there will still be broadcast networks and cable channels, but direct to consumer is really, really where it's at. We're going to get into this article. This comes from Motley Fool, which is a pretty cool business website. Disney's new corporate structure makes it a lot more like Netflix. Disney wants to make more content for its streaming services. Here's how it'll do it. Let's get into the article. Before we do, definitely support my work. I appreciate it when you do that. Subscribe to the channel. Click the bell for notifications. This way you find out when all the new movies come out. Disney NYSE just made a major overhaul to the way it produces and distributes new films and television series. The company's creating a media and entertainment distribution group which will decide where each new piece of content goes. Theaters, broadcast, cable networks, streaming, or some combination of all three. So rather than look at having individual broadcast TV channels, as they own ABC, they own cable channels, they had tremendous distribution through movie theaters before the pandemic, and now they're building their streaming. They're going to decide, okay, we've got a new Marvel film. Where do we want it to come out? When do we want it to come out? There was a recent interview with Bob Chapek, Disney's CEO, and the CNBC person was asking him, like, hey, so you are going to honor your, multi-decade relationship, though, with movie theaters, right? You're always going to consider that your priority first, right? And he was like, no. He's like, well, however the consumer wants to see the content, that's how we're going to do it. Like, all right. So they're leaving their options open so they can make maximum money. But clearly, the only thing they're doing that's really working and that's building their business right now at Disney is the streaming, the direct-to-consumer. And they will have new numbers on their streaming subscribers early December. CEO Bob Chapek said the restructuring will allow its various content groups to focus more on productions instead intended for streaming. And the greater flexibility distribution could open the door to create content more like Netflix. Interesting. So separating content creation from distribution. The overreaching goal of the restructuring is to remove the silos of content distribution for each segment of Disney's media business. Disney's film studios previously operated under the assumption that everything it produces will have a theatrical run. Likewise, the television studios were producing content that fit the linear TV format, which is linear TV is like broadcast TV or cable. Under Disney's new corporate structure, all productions from Disney's three content groups, studios, general entertainment, and sports, will funnel into the distribution group headed by Kareem Daniel. His team will decide on how to maximize the value for each piece of content. So Kareem, who's like the head of the group, will decide, all right, this should be through movie theaters, this should be through movie theaters and through streaming or just broadcast. Kareem's going to figure it all out for them. Well, obviously they have a whole team. It's not just him. Disney has already had to make decisions about releasing content through distribution channels it didn't originally intend to use. Several films, including Hamilton, Mulan, saw distribution through Disney+. Pixar's Soul will go that way as well. Soul will be coming out in December from Pixar, and it will just be part of the Disney Plus package. There's not going to be any extra fee to watch it. With the restructuring, Disney's telegraphing its intent to distribute more films directly to consumers via its streaming services. Yeah, that goes without question. So when will the first major Marvel movie come out through its streaming services? They have not announced, but will there be one? It certainly looks like there will. Becoming a streaming leader. Disney says the primary focus of each content group is now on producing content for its streaming services. Wow. Again, check this out. The primary focus of each content group is now on producing content for its streaming services. So the number one market for them is direct-to-consumer. That is impressive. Direct-to-consumer streaming services, they will consider their cable channels, their theatrical distribution, all that. But when they're looking at their brands and they're looking at what content they want to create in all of their divisions, streaming is always priority one for them. That's a big, big change. Disney currently operates 3 direct-to-consumer streaming services and will provide details on a 4th offering, Star branded service in international markets. Because they acquired Star TV, which was this international satellite business when they acquired Fox Studios, and that's based in India. Star has a good brand in internationally, especially in India, so they will have a 4th streaming service with Star. By loosening the constraints on what distribution method each content will use, it opens the door for more productions and more creativity. Netflix has shown that flexibility can lead to better viewer experiences and more efficient use of its content budget. The thing that Netflix really shows too is having the content like just always available if you want to go watch this or watch that, leads to people doing a lot of binge watching and repeat watching. And the big game in streaming is how much time do you spend as a viewer and a consumer on that streaming service. So Netflix is number 1 with that, and Amazon I think is number 2 right now. But if you've got like some TV content that people like that show The Office or South Park or whatever, people will spend tons of time just binge watching it, sometimes again and again and again. And that kind of interaction, that kind of engagement with the service makes the services more and more valuable. That's why Netflix is the most valuable streaming service. It's not just because it has the most subscribers. It's got the most consumer attention, stickiness, as they call it in like the social media world. In the last 20 years or so, Disney and other major studios have almost exclusively focused on producing big-budget blockbusters. Sometimes that pays off handsomely, like in 2019. Sometimes it doesn't, like in 2020. Usually it does. Disney has almost 40%, or had right before the pandemic, probably still does, who knows, 40% of the theatrical market for movies. And that's at least in the United States. And that's a huge amount. They had acquired, when they acquired Fox, it combined to like 39%. So it was like 17% Fox and 20% Disney. Now they are heavily invested, now with 40% of the market. If studios didn't have to selectively produce films that drive viewers to theaters, it could make more projects viable for Disney. Netflix, for example, is set to release over 100 new films this year. Disney issued about 1/4 of Netflix's output last year. How scary is that for them? I mean, that's kind of amazing that Netflix is set to release 100 new films. 100 new films. Disney did about 25% of Netflix's output. Similarly, Disney does have more powerful franchises than Netflix has, at least for the time being. People spend on Netflix service 3.3% of what they spend their time on is stuff produced by Netflix. But it's small, but it can grow. Similarly, Netflix is able to release hundreds of hours of new series every year since it's not locked into windowing its content into 3 hours of primetime viewing every night. Series can be as many episodes as make sense to tell the story. They don't need the same mass appeal as a primetime show on ABC. If Disney wants to compete with Netflix, it needs to produce more content. It can't do that if its film group is only trying to make blockbusters, right? Chapek says he expects new content every week on Disney Plus going forward. Growing its content catalog is key to building the strong subscriber base the company has quickly attracted with Disney Plus, as well as its ability to raise its price in the future. They are definitely raising the price of Disney Plus ASAP. Their chief financial officer said that a couple months ago, so it's going to happen. But I guess they probably want to see what their growth is first. Disney certainly isn't abandoning its extremely profitable theatrical release and media networks business, but the greater flexibility inherent with its new corporate structure will allow it to produce more content for streaming, greater efficiency in its content budget and subscriber growth. Yeah, there's also a major forgiveness with content producers. And there's a major forgiveness, so in terms of results. So Netflix, if they're not as profitable, so even when Netflix wasn't profitable, people were still big on the stock because they knew it was growing aggressively. So growing your subscriber base gets investors very excited, and they measure success that way rather than just profit. So Disney is looking at taking their $3 billion annual dividend and reinvesting it in making new content, which would just grow the business and probably not hit them at all on the stock. So it'll be interesting to see how this develops. Let me know what you think of this in the comments below. Do you think Disney can pull off what Netflix has already done? Do you think they can do better than Netflix? Netflix is doing weird stuff like that movie Cuties. Who knows? I would think they probably could. Brands do mean a lot, but they have to treat the brands right. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. Let me know what you think. Definitely subscribe to the channel. Click the bell for notifications. Also, you can check out my work at collegeofthedead.com and get a copy of College of the Dead Graduation Day, where college costs you an arm and a leg. It's an ongoing zombie apocalypse series. It's really well done. It ships immediately, and I think you will like it. So check it out. Also, sign up at epicmermaids.com so we can email you with the mermaids. Basically, you'll get a notice when the mermaids is going to be launching. It's going to be launching soon. And if you sign up to the list at epicmermaids.com, I can send you an email and let you know it has launched. All right, I'll see you again soon with another video. And if I don't see you, I will miss you.